You know, it can easily seem that there's a sort of war on masculinity, or at least there is a lot of pressures that convince men into carving out a path that doesn't make them happy. Definitely in the last 5 years I've been looking at everything with open eyes, and we're seeing two kinds of responses, right? One of victimhood and one of responsibility. What is an effective tool to restore this right type of masculinity? Because you might very well feel something for that man. You might very well be one of those men, and I know enough of them, that still think about their future children, future wife. Even if they haven't met her yet, they already feel this beautiful desire to take care of them, right? And to secure them. And so to look around and see what kind of forces are turning men into shells of themselves, essentially. You might very well feel something for that and say, I'm gonna carve out my own path. Now, long story short, if I needed to make a list of things that can guide you to go the other way, to take your own path towards your own nature, towards your own masculinity, as opposed to away from it, on top of that list I would put semen retention. If you're already practicing semen retention, you're gonna better understand exactly what you're doing and how powerful it is. If you are curious about semen retention, or you just simply haven't started yet, you will understand the immense power and potential of semen retention. And I would urge you to watch the whole video, because the last point is, in my opinion, definitely the most pressing. I'm happy that you're here. I'm glad that you are a part of this, and if this is the first time stopping by and you're a man who has that certain fire, consider subscribing and joining us in this movement. Let's get into it. So the first force is, I think, the more obvious one, and so we'll get through it pretty quickly. Passivity, comfort, complacency. Look at our society, we are so far ahead. Our lives are so goddamn good. The problems that are left are problems of comfort. And the main challenge for us men has to do everything with doing less, and it has to do less with doing more. Of course we need to get our work done, of course we need to push forward, but the biggest gains are essentially in doing less. Why is the productivity space so huge? Because it's giving you tools and ways of doing less, of avoiding your phone more, of winning an extra 30 minutes here. Our lives are unnecessarily comfortable. It's making men passive and complacent, and this goes right against our essence. If we just listen to our subjective truth for a second, then we can all confirm for each other the idea that if we get our hands dirty, if we create something, build something, go through discomfort, if we face resistance consistently, we feel amazing. And it is so simple. And our world is a force that goes against this need of ours. And so the responsibility is put in your hands to find discomfort, face resistance everywhere you can go. Now, semen retention increases, I think the best word for it is your willpower, man. It is that thing that is inside of us that says, fuck it, let's do it anyways. Fuck it, let's do more. Let's do another set. Let's finish this now. That very soulful power that's within you, you'll see more of it. You'll see much more of it. It's something very interesting inside you that you should meet. And if you're already on semen retention, you probably know what I'm talking about. And this doesn't just go for the work or facing resistance. This goes for basically anything in your own expression, right? Socially, or in love, or with money, or in the gym, physically, anything. That decision maker within you is going to take more space within your life. And you should let it. Another force is obviously sexualization. I think there's a lot of controversy and a lot of emotion when we think about this and when we speak about this, right? It's of course the promotion of hookup culture, OnlyFans, basically a promotion of hedonism. All the biggest media platforms seem to completely give the green light for this and support it. On Instagram you'll see nudity these days. First of all, and maybe an unpopular opinion, we are still the problem, and this is maybe part of the masculine journey anyways, right? Doesn't matter if things go left or right. In this case I believe so, because we are the demand. Everybody is speaking about how bad OnlyFans is, but meanwhile There's a free market moving in that direction because there's demand for it. This demand is not coming from women. Men are looking at porn, men are looking at OnlyFans, men are looking at these thirst traps on Instagram, and the free market is pushing it. So this all begins with responsibility, and I hope you agree with me here. And how is semen retention gonna help you? Well, that's because you're literally fighting this force at its core. When you become in control of your sexual desire, you become an example for masculinity to reduce the demand going into porn, going into Instagram reels and thirst traps, going into OnlyFans and every other example of sexualization, right? In your own way, you become a leader of the right type of masculinity, the type that we need most. And not even primarily in this purpose-driven sense of we're making the world a better place, but you will feel so much better when you take your eyes off this sexualization in all these different places. When you become disconnected from it, it becomes hard to, hey, how did that even look like again? When you hit that point, man, it feels so good for you, for yourself. You look people in the eye differently, especially with women. You speak to them as human beings, which they are. And as a bonus, and I think in my opinion a very important bonus, you are part of the solution as a man currently. You're lowering the demand and you're an example for your environment to say, fuck this shit. Let's take a different path. This one I think is the most interesting one, but I believe that one of the most beautiful things of semen retention, that you go against this highly individualistic force. I believe that the world is increasingly becoming as if people are their own gods, very ego-driven. And I'm saying this with a lot of love. I don't feel any contempt towards it, but that's just an observation that I think you can agree with. For logical reasons, the world is becoming very individualistic. A mindset or an attitude that a lot of people like to call religion is that there's something above you as a man. And when this happens, I believe that not only do you attract the things that you want quicker, but you also become a man who people look up to, because people can feel it when your primary driver is purpose, when your priority is to serve others. And when you start focusing on serving others, that always goes hand in hand with you having something above you. And personally, I am not religious, as in I follow an institution of religion. But I do believe, I find it very hard to explain it, but every single day I have some kind of communication or some kind of sense that there's something above me and that everything that I do is to serve others. And the more I have moved away from being my own God and following what I must have and need and following the ego, the more I have grown into myself, the more I've started to like myself, the more easy I have gotten rid of bad habits, such as my video game and weed addiction that pestered me for the majority of my youth when I started semen retention 5 years ago. Step by step, this has shown me that there cannot be any purpose within serving yourself. That there is a very nice bonus, and when you start becoming very good at helping others, that you will attract the women, the shiny objects, the money. These things will much easier come to you as you are focused on something else and you're not putting weight on those objects and stop them from moving to you, which is what happens when we focus so much on getting them, right? This neediness. Whether you are religious or non-religious or you're spiritual, I cannot even define it for myself. I guess it would be spiritual, but it's gonna show you, man. It's gonna show you that there is something much more important than serving yourself, and that is actually paradoxically gonna serve you better. Sometimes hard to explain, and I hope it makes sense what I'm telling you. It's something that inevitably happens with those men that choose the path of semen retention. I believe that there is very simply a divergence happening between men and women, where equally so women are being tempted, persuaded to move away from their nature, and we are being tempted to move away from our nature in the ways that I've explained to you in this video. I think there is only one right answer. When men and women are diverging away from our beautiful synergies, then I don't think bitterness and pointing fingers and resentfulness is the way, man. So all this red pill shit, I think there's a reason why it's kind of dying out. You know, it was a nice stepping stone into, you know, higher levels, of course. When you stop watching porn, when you stop following that sexual desire, inevitably you will become more human, man. You will become more loving. And that's what we need more of, man. We don't need more divergence. It's already happening. And, you know, some forces in the world are definitely trying to make that so. And if you want to avoid it in your personal life, then love is the way to go. There's absolutely no other way. Surrendering and going your own way, or becoming confrontational, or pointing fingers to the other side while they are equally victim, is just gonna make sure that you will have a hard time finding a good woman, man. Love and understanding is gonna help you attract a loving woman in your reality. Semen retention will help you massively with that as you grow in this self-control, and you see women as humans that also undergo challenges. So that is how, in very important ways, I believe semen retention is going to, and is currently, restoring the right type of masculinity. If you're on board on this, I respect you, man. We're getting closer and closer to the launch of the masculine direction, which I start to see more and more as a sort of lateral society of men that look at the world and simply disagree with a lot of things and still want to be in their power, in their loving masculinity. And I'm going to build a place for us men and to secure ourselves together, because I think having a very private community of men that think in that same way, I think that's going to be one of the most important things in the coming years. If you want to be a part of that, I am going to choose 20 founding fathers or early movers, however you want to call it, that will be able to get in at a ridiculously low price, first of all, because all my courses, all my material will be in there as well. And more importantly, you'll become sort of a backbone within this lateral society, this private community, because this is going to be big, it's going to be important. I'm going to pour my heart and soul into this. So if you want to be a founding father, you can put your name on the list down below, and then soon I will choose 20 men to launch the community with.